Peace, family. Welcome to another episode Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Brother Rich, and I'm joined once again by the living legend, none other than Professor Griff. Welcome back, brother.
Peace, Brother Rich, and it's always a pleasure to be back, man, under these strange and critical circumstances, man.
Nah, for real. Everybody seems to be talking about this Trump's first 100 days, so I want to get a little political today, Professor Griff. And I guess I want to do our version of just talking about, his first 100 days and the direction that you think this country is going with him in office. A lot of people feel as though he won't make it the full 4 years. Some people feel as though he will. I guess we'll discuss all of that in the show. But to start out with, Professor Griff, I mean, it's been a hell of 100 days with President Trump, man.
Right.
I mean, people that were never into politics, I mean, they're glued to the TV just to see what happens on a day-to-day basis because it's so dramatic, so action-packed, it seems, with this man. Every day or every other day, it's something new. Somebody's getting fired, somebody resigns, travel bans, all types of stuff. But to say all that, to say, Professor Griff, sum up his first 100 days for me, brother. What do you think about it so far?
I would have to safely say that the first 100 days is just the worst 100 days that the American people have actually seen with any president, although there were 5 other presidents with just as equally going through some of the same things that let me forget what I was going to say, that Donald Trump went through. If you could roll your mind back to the 60s, I believe, with Kennedy. Kennedy, in his first 100 days, had the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the Bay of Pigs in comparison to the strikes on Syria for Syria's so-called bombing their own people, some people say it's no comparison. Of course, Kennedy pulled them troops out of Cuba after getting their ass whipped by Fidel Castro and Raul Castro and Che Guevara. And it spelled a disaster for Kennedy. But Kennedy was able to rebound to the point where he gained the trust of the American people, but ultimately got assassinated. Mm-hmm. So Donald Trump's 100 days in office, probably just like not the last, but 4 or 5 other presidents, it was tarnished. But I don't think Donald Trump is going to be able to pull himself out of these first 100 days disaster. I mean, just real quick, if you look at the first 100 days, let's just look at some of the things that actually happened, which was disastrous for Donald Trump. Okay, he hired and fired Flynn. He tried to go after and repeal Obamacare.
Right.
And then there was FBI criminal investigation on Russia having influence over the elections. Then he turned around and believed in 60-something days he dropped bombs and a missile strike in Syria. And because they said Syria bombed its own people with nerve gas. Right. Is that as equal as the water crisis or them dropping the bomb on the people that move in Philly or whatever America has done? You don't find other governments meddling in the affairs of America. If America decides to drop a bomb or move or drop a bomb somewhere else, and they have. So and then shortly after that, the Neil Gorsuch disaster, which he's putting people in that don't speak for the behalf of the American people. And then shortly after that, they started talking about his many trips to play golf, which totaled up to $1 to $3 million per trip.
Wow.
That's all in 100 days, man. Well, I forgot to mention he accused Barack Obama
for wiretapping
Trump's house. All in 100 days, bro. Yeah.
Now, you know, in terms of, wait 1 second. Oh, in terms of the Steve Bannon firing, I mean, when he hired Steve Bannon, that was a move that, I mean, a lot of people couldn't understand because of Steve Bannon's lack of experience and because of things he said in the past. What do you think that was all about during the first 100 days, Steve Bannon being fired? Because people look at him as the, you know, like the top level racist, like that's as racist as it could get in the White House to a lot of people. So why do you think Trump ended up firing him?
You know, that's a very difficult question for me to answer, and I don't want to come off like some political kind of know-it-all. Some of those moves that they made, I can honestly say from where I'm sitting, those moves were made by someone else. Trump is not politically astute to the point where he knows where to put these particular individuals on the chessboard. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's safe to say that someone else is making these moves, and he's just giving instructions on what won't and will be done with these particular individuals.
Well, what about...
I don't think those moves were made by him, to be honest with you.
Well, the alt-right keeps referring to the deep state. What do you think about the deep state? They keep making this reference to the deep state.
Well, only they know the inner workings of what they mean, because a lot of times they use code words.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So then again, it may be something that's outside of the normal American people, meaning white people, the average American in America, and it's definitely outside the comprehension of black people, because we don't really know what that means. So just for the sake of argument, what does that actually mean?
Indeed.
This whole idea of deep state. When he first came into office, he was campaigning. He said he's gonna be a different kind of president, and he's gonna stand up for the working class American. If you go through the history of everything that he put forth, it's actually hurting the American people. 90,000 children will be affected. Head Start program. He cut back on financial aid for universities, schools, colleges, whatever it is. He cut back on affordable housing, only to enrich, those people that that are already rich. So I don't see how the so-called American people, the same ones they claim. I'm talking about the flag-waving hypocrites, the ones that was waving the flags and fighting the people at the campaigns.
Right.
I don't see how they can turn around now and say that Donald Trump has actually have done them any service. I just can't see it, man.
What do you think about all the Russia talk throughout and him saying that the media was pushing fake news during his first 100 days? I've never seen, in my years on this earth, I've never seen a president come at the media the way he comes at the media. Now, a lot of people don't mind that because a lot of people feel as though the media is bullshit anyway. But in terms of the Russia story, who do you think is lying in these first 100 days? The media, the president, or a combination of both of them?
I think a combination of both of them, but you have to understand, and we've often said this, we don't know those individuals that are there that have this infighting among white people to see who's going to control the House. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And notice when they use that particular language, when you say house, they don't necessarily mean a physical house. You understand what I'm saying? Who's going to control the bloodline? Who's going to control the inner workings of government is what they actually mean, that mindset. And I think, but because if Trump doesn't play ball, so to speak, here we go with that symbology language again. If he doesn't play ball, I actually think that they're going to try to take him out. And that's just not only myself saying this, but if you kind of, do a taste test, so to speak, a lot of people that actually feel that way and sense that. Because they moved on Reagan, they moved on the Kennedy boys. And for less. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about him being so hell-bent on getting rid of Obamacare? He just continuously talked trash about Obamacare. Then when he presented his package, it didn't seem to be that much different. There was a lot of aspects of Obamacare that was in there. Do you think he attacked it so much because he really just wanted to erase the legacy he didn't want that legacy of a black man being there permanently?
Of course. I mean, anybody could see that. There was definitely some, I wouldn't even say implications. I wanted to say racial implications attached to it and undertones attached to it. But, A, to erase the legacy. B, how come none of them wanted to put their name on it? It's not called Trump Care, is it now? It seemed like it was Des Ryan didn't want to put his name on it. So, yeah, so they wanted to get rid of something that serves so many Americans. And it's sad that the white people that it benefited wouldn't speak up. Some of the detractors that now have turned against Donald Trump basically said it wasn't going to work. And then to talk about it so bad, but to keep so much of it. When they flipped it, let's just speak directly to it. He failed to repeal Obamacare. That's plain and simple. But in his attempt to do it, he left so much of it there, but he still lost 24 million people that don't have health coverage right now. So what are you actually doing? For the sake of just doing it? Yeah, that poses a problem. And then to turn around and say that it's not cool to judge him according to the first 100 days because he's a different kind of president. I was like, wow. Come on. Wow. Come on, bro. Yeah. So he's changing the rules as he goes along, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, for a president to come out during his first 100 days and say things like, I thought it would be easier, or say nobody knew health care could be so complicated. Is this him showing some honesty and not trying to be politically correct, or is this just total, complete incompetence coming from an American president? Like, how should we process that type of language coming from an American president?
He's incompetent, man. And he knew this going in. I don't even think he knew himself that he was going to win. And I said this 4 or 5 shows ago.
Yeah, a lot of people starting to say that. Yeah, a lot of people starting to say that.
So it's one of those kind of situations where it's like, come on, bro. If you didn't have any idea what being president was about, then what were you doing? Running for the hell of it? Just something to do because you're bored? That's why he spent so much time playing golf.
Right.
You don't want to be in the White House. I don't think his wife has ever came back.
It's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
They don't want to be there. You can tell. You know, and it's sad for the American people. The people, really thought that this man could pull this off, man. And he's there dumbfounded, sitting at the desk twiddling his thumbs, man. Ordering, pizza and shit out.
Right.
So I guess he feels the next best thing is, fuck it, I'll just bomb somebody. You understand what I'm saying? It's sad. It truly is, man.
Now, another thing we've never seen from a president is a president use social media the way Trump uses social media. You know, he has a severe case of Twitter fingers. He's always on Twitter trolling somebody or saying something. Is that something that you think more presidents should do in the future because the media can't misquote them or misrepresent them, or is that something that you think our president and our politicians should stay away from, the land of social media?
Well, you know something, Hillary Clinton went through the cell phone situation the email situation using two different servers. Barack Obama went through an issue with his phone because he didn't want to give his BlackBerry. But here's an immature president, wakes up early in the morning to type 140 characters every morning to vent his frustration. You got the world at your fingertips, bruh. You can have a press conference when you want to. Why would you resort to such childishness? So, I truly don't understand that particular dynamic. You can vent and you can kind of rearrange and you can kind of go to Congress to pass certain laws, if he even knows how government works, which I truly think he doesn't. That's just me. I guess if you have a fifth grader come in and question him about the branches of government, I think he's get dumbfounded. I just truly I don't think that he knows government. That's just my honest observation. It's like nothing that he's actually doing. He said he's going to be the president to sign the most executive orders in 100 days. Well, what is that telling you? He's basically trying to override everything that the last president has done.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're doing. So I think the general consensus is the fact that Donald Trump ran, accidentally won, because the people didn't vote for him. The numbers prove that. They selected him, put him in, now using him as a puppet, because I'm serious, man. He's dumb as a goddamn doorknob, man.
And, you know, if you look at his body language, when he first won his, what do you call it, his victory speech or whatever they call that, when you first find out you win and you go to the talk, his body language, it's like he wasn't there. He was shocked. He looked shocked. He wasn't there. He wasn't the normal Trump. It took him like a day or two to really return to the normal Trump. But when he initially won, if anybody could go back to that speech, I know it's all over YouTube, his body language was completely different from what we're seeing of Trump. So, yeah, maybe he really didn't get the word to the last minute, and he wasn't, he really didn't know he was going to win. But his body language definitely was different during that speech.
Right. And you could tell, just the whole idea, the mannerism. He's not stately. He's not presidential at all.
No, not at all.
No, he's just not. He's just not. He's borderline backdoor dealing, trying to let's make the deal in the alleyway kind of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that basically is just kind of like how he comes off. So I don't know, but I guess the people that voted for him, I guess they're satisfied. I take it. I don't know. What the hell did they expect?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they got everything that they bargained for. They sure got it in Trump. Because the next 4 years, I doubt he'll be there 4 years, but yeah, it's ugly, man. It's truly ugly. But go on.
No, it really is. It really is. And, during the first 100 days, there's been several cases where, some of these immigrants voted for him and knew what he was talking about as far as getting rid of the immigrants and how he felt about the border wall and the Muslims and everything. They still voted for him. And then it winds up that he deported part of their family back to their country.
Right.
There's been several instances of that. So it's like, are these people serious, Professor Griff? Like, why, after everything the man said, why would you still, as an immigrant, you're from these countries, why would you still turn around, vote for him, and then act surprised when your husband gets deported? I don't understand the logic, Professor Griff.
I think that they were banking on something different, to be honest with you. I think it's almost like if they knew that, you know, that they voted for him, he wouldn't do such a thing, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I think that strategy in and of itself kind of backfired, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it surely did.
Yeah. I mean, in the worst way. So we just, and now, like I hear a lot of people saying, man, well, he's the president now, so just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
No, there's this thing called impeachment. So no, you don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to that degree, but yeah. Yeah.
Now, seeing what happened with Trump during the first 100 days, and seeing what went down in elections where they said a lot of people stayed home and didn't vote, do you think this will inspire in 2020, because he's already talking about 2020, do you think this will inspire people to vote, or do you think the Democrats got to come with something a little better than Hillary Clinton for people to get out there and vote like how they wanted people to get out there and vote?
I don't think this is going to drive people to the polls, so to speak, simply because you got to understand something. It was the slick maneuvering of the Electoral College that got Donald Trump in. Right. I think people now have asked so many questions. Wait a minute. If he lost by the popular vote, how did he still get in? So now they really don't trust the voting process.
Mm-hmm.
Who would? If you ask some serious questions to yourself, who actually would after this?
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be very honest with yourself. And if you come up with the fact that you still trust the voting process, then you're actually doing your children a disservice by leaving an institution like the Electoral College in place to do the same thing 8 years from now.
Wow. Yeah. Definitely. Now, in terms of Trump signing legislation that makes it easier for states to refuse Planned Parenthood, that's something that he's talked about consistently, you know, as far as his stance on abortion. Talk to me about that, his stance on abortion. He's not taking the stance of Obama or previous presidents. He seems to be coming down on abortion. What do you think about, you know, his stance during the first 100 days when it comes to abortions and women's rights?
Well, you were looking at a president that didn't respect women just from the rip. If you're talking about a guy that was coming into office that was grabbing pussies, well, what did the women that voted for him, what did they expect?
Right.
I didn't think that he was going to put things in place that was going to assist women in their efforts to have basic rights, not only to their own bodies, but the fact that to leave that decision up to them. But I think out of everyone that got disappointed, I think bushy black people, I think the LGBT community looked at it like, okay, we didn't really expect anything from dude, so they definitely were not surprised. I think Uncle Bendover Carson was shocked and surprised that he got a job that he knows absolutely nothing about. Who's the dude? Coney that came in and because you know Coney used to work for Sachs,
right,
Goldman Sachs, and they had to pay out $5 billion for trying to manipulate and control not only the elections but a few other things. Not only that, he signed on to Goldman Sachs. If I can remember, my memory serves me well, was $285 million severance package.
Wow.
Then for Trump to turn around and put that dude in his cabinet, Oh, that's an issue. Yeah, so when you look at these moves that he's making, I think Donald Trump is playing a dangerous game of chess, and he's setting himself up for when he's not the president.
Okay.
Can you imagine doing favors for Putin while Putin is Putin around Russia, and then doing favors by hiring people from Goldman Sachs and all these other people? He's enriching the rich.
Right.
So that already 1% to 2% that's already running and controlling things. You talking about tax breaks and tax cuts? Oh, I think I got it written down. Hold up, this is Walmart. What's the family called? The Waltons? Hold on, it's the Waltons, right? That own Walmart.
I'm not sure.
Let me see. I think I got it written down. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is the Waltons that own and run Walmart. Sam Walton. I think they're due to save so much money under Trump. It is ridiculous. It's not even damn funny. It's hard to even crack a smile when you look at some of the numbers. What do you call that those figures? Not in the millions. Pardon me. I meant to say in the billions.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about tax breaks, first of all, the total tax breaks that he's able to kind of dish out is $350 billion with a B. With the $350 billion, $53 billion worth of tax cuts go to Walmart and the Walton family.
Wow.
$34 billion go to the Koch brothers. Then I think someone else gets 12.6, and I think, and this is the kicker, Donald Trump's own family gets $4.6 billion in tax cuts.
Whew.
His own family.
His own family. Wow.
Yeah, so you talking about the banksters. That's gangster.
Yeah. Damn.
So yeah, but he had to make that move with having his brother and his son take over the company because he couldn't be president and run Trump Enterprises, so to speak, at the same time. But he did get the $4.6 billion in tax cuts. You ain't nothing but fucking criminals running this goddamn government, man. Criminals. And Barack Obama was their black spokesperson for them to get into Africa and other places and into the hearts and minds of black people without them kicking up dust. And he did his job, now he's out.
Do you think that's why they paid him $400,000 for the Wall Street speech, or do you think people just making a big deal out of it for nothing, or was that like sort of a reward for what he has done?
Yeah, I think that was a reward, man. That was like a pat on the head from NASA, pat on the back. Good boy. Here you go. Just the mere fact that they make this back in tax cuts. You understand what I'm saying? 400,000 is like $40 to them. They don't talk about that. That's no money. It's like $400 to us. That ain't no money. You understand what I'm saying? That's them. When you are connected to people that trade trillions of dollars, you understand what I'm saying? Every single day. When you destabilize governments, when you manipulate and control what goes on in other governments and control the natural resources in other governments, let me tell you something, man. That's nothing to them. And who the hell gets $400,000 of speech? Yeah. I get speeches all the damn time. Yeah, bro.
Oh man, well, I got one more question for you, Professor Griff. We got a short show today. I guess to wrap it up, the way you analyze things. Well, they said, I think it was Nilly Fuller. Correct me if I'm wrong. who said if you don't understand white supremacy, then everything else will confuse you. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. Neely Fuller Jr. And he wrote that in the book we affectionately call The Code.
Mm-hmm. The Code, right. Okay, so with that being said, and the way you analyze things, I remember when Trump first said, "Make America Great Again." You came right after that and said he really means make America white again. Then about a year after you saying that, or months, probably 9 months or whenever after you saying that, I started hearing some media outlets saying, well, does Trump really mean make America white again? But it seems as though because you view things from that lens and you understand white supremacy, you're able to pick up on things before the general public picks up on it. Talk to me about viewing the world from that lens, because some people will feel as though that sort of blinds you or that sort of handicaps you because you're always thinking about it. But that could be something that allows you to pick up on things far faster than a lot of other people will. So just talk to me about that concept right there to close it out, Professor Griff.
Well, if Neely Fuller Jr. Put that book together with his observation of this particular government and white people in general, if Tom Burrell put together his book Brainwashed, if Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Ben, Professor Smalls, Professor Jeffries, Runoko Rashidis of the world, and Ashra Quasis, and Dr. Collin, and Steve Coakley, and if we observed these people and we left a blueprint, so to speak, after everyone that has sacrificed their lives, Dr. John Henry Clark and Amos Wilson and other people that have left their work for us, you can actually, in studying these great scholars' work, you can actually arm yourself with a methodology and a way to process information, and you can come up and have this particular kind of mindset. That is the whole idea of being conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So that's consciousness 101. Why should we reinvent the wheel? If Neely Fuller said, and we often quote that, if you do not understand racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. Mm-hmm. But we're not confused if we follow the instructions that the masters and the grandmasters left us. But so many of us now are out there on social media blasting the masters and the grandmasters. You understand what I'm saying? How did you unravel everything in a few video clips that John Henry Clark has given us, Amos Wilson has given us, and actually out in the field doing the work? You understand what I'm saying? And people don't understand that lecturing is a tradition among our people. It's part of the oral tradition coming up out of the African village. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't just lecture just to lecture. In most cases, if you were to believe anybody, I got to see you. Even now in the whole entertainment world, people pay big money to go see people live because they just want to see the person live. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even with the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth, we have show and prove rallies, man. You got to come show and prove. But this new generation coming up, not giving much thought to the tradition, never giving credence to some brothers that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, never understanding why there's political prisoners and people that are in jail that fought for some of these brothers to even exercise and have the freedoms that they have today. For them to get on YouTube and this kind of thing and blast an elder or ancestor, yeah, you out your rabbit ass mind, man. That's totally disrespectful, man. You understand what I'm saying? But all that they have sacrificed, I often have to give credit back to those elders and those ancestors for the methodology, even the methodology that I use. When I came up in the Nation of Islam and we had to learn and study our lessons, you understand what I'm saying? We had to recite them verbatim, word for word, and know the definition of every word, and know how to spell. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. It helps you develop this kind of methodology and process. This is why we say we don't operate on branch knowledge. We always go to the root.
Mm-hmm.
And this is real. So, but I really appreciate the time that you've given tonight. I know you're in a situation and we can't speak long, but hope everything is well there. And I hope people were able to just take a small little bite out of this political conversation that we've had.
Indeed, definitely, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're going to enjoy it. Before we leave, as always, leave the people your contact information and let them know what you got coming up.
Okay, well, this weekend I'm going to be at Everlasting Life in Capitol Heights, Maryland. All right, I'm going to put the flyers up on my Facebook page so people can check it out. And I noticed, Brother Rich, when we say that, a lot of people get sidetracked and sidelined when we say that simply because we take for granted and we think everyone's on Facebook. Everybody got a Facebook page, but a lot of people don't.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to start taking the flyers and putting them up on my website, www.professorgriff.me. It's professorgriff.me. But I'm going to be at Everlasting Life. That's 9185 Central Avenue, Capitol Heights, Maryland, this Saturday at 12 noon. All right, it's going to be a solstice bazaar. You're going to have vendors and food and that kind of thing. And then Sunday, we're having brunch, a vegan brunch, where then we're going to have a Q&A about my book, Symbology, and we're just going to kind of break bread, literally. And they have to go to the site to purchase the tickets online. I'm sure they can pay at the door, but they can go to MaySolsticeBazaar.eventbrite.com. All right, that's MaySolsticeBazaar.eventbrite.com. There's some other dates that are coming up, and I'll put those particular flyers up on my Facebook page. I'll be in New Brunswick, New Jersey, coming up at the end of May, and next weekend I'll be in Portland, man. So I'll put those flyers up. On my Facebook page. There's a brother in Portland named Quaz. They used to call him Q. But he said, yeah, tell Brother Richard, make sure you shout me out, man. I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll tell him. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, shout out to Q in Portland. I'll be in Portland. His name is Quaz in Portland, Oregon. So, yeah. All right, Brother Rich, I really appreciate you, man.
Indeed. And also, I want the people to make sure they check out our page. We both have Patreon pages now that people could show support on a monthly basis, whether it's $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever you have. But as the censorship continues on Facebook and on YouTube and other social media platforms, it's important that we continue to get this message out to the people as independent sources that are where our message are uncompromised. So make sure you support those who support you, who help you, who, give you this information, this spiritual food that we all need. Check out my Patreon is www.patreon.com/blackmagic363. What is yours, Professor Griff?
Mine is the same URL, but /Professor Griff. Yeah, so if you put those links there for people to click on, so they can support. People need to understand this net neutrality and understand that they're clamping down. So people may not be able to hear us every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be no platform to hear us. And I told people this was coming. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you said it a while ago. you talked about net neutrality a while ago, yeah.
Exactly. So people need to understand it may not be a way for them to even hear these particular insights and get this information. How else can we say it, Brother Rich? Like, net neutrality is here. We talked about it, and it's here. We're going to start paying for everything. YouTube, if you ain't got 10,000 lifelong subscribers, they don't even want you on YouTube anymore. YouTube broke away from Google Plus, so Google Hangouts, my stuff is not going to YouTube anymore. They're cutting back and making people pay. This is what it is, man. Censorship at its best. All right, man.
Yeah. On that note, family, we signing out. We're going to see you next week, family. Peace.
Peace.